You might think you're being nice to your dog by giving them a little bite of what you're eating, but the next thing you know, they're throwing up, or even worse. What happened? Well, you may have accidentally given them something poisonous to dogs. So here's a list of human foods you should never give your golden retriever according to the AKC and ASPCA. First up is macadamia nuts. These nuts are actually some of the most poisonous foods you can give your dog. They can harm your dog's nervous system, increase their body temperature, cause vomiting, and even cause them to not be able to walk. Yikes. It's a good idea to keep those macadamia nut cookies far out of your golden's reach and maybe not even let them in the house in the first place. Now this next food is also a nut, but it's deadly for a different reason. Almonds. Almonds aren't poisonous like macadamia nuts are, but they can be dangerous for dogs because of their shape and how hard they are. Their pointy ends can tear your dog's throat if they swallow them without fully chewing them, and if they don't cause a tear, they can also cause a blockage in their throat. But even if your golden does fully chew the almonds, many almonds come salted, and dogs can't process too much salt at one time. It can increase their water retention, which may be fatal to some dogs. Now it's weird that goldens can't have almonds and macadamia nuts, but they can have unsalted cashews and peanuts. But we'll talk more about that in the next video on human foods that golden retrievers can eat. Alright, now let's move on to the food that is most notorious for being bad for dogs, chocolate. Like macadamia nuts, chocolate can be deadly for dogs. It contains methylxanthines, which can cause all sorts of problems in goldens, like vomiting, seizures, and even death. Dark chocolate has more methylxanthine than white chocolate, so it's more dangerous for them, but still, it's best to avoid all chocolate for your dog. And if your dog has ingested chocolate or macadamia nuts or any of the other foods on this list, call your vet or the ASPCA's Animal Poison Control Hotline at 888-426-4435. I'll also drop a link to this hotline down in the description. This next thing golden retrievers should never have is actually a drink. Coffee. Golden retrievers are more sensitive to caffeine than humans are, not to mention they're about half our size. Caffeine can elevate their heart rate, cause diarrhea, and increase their blood pressure. If your golden sneaks in a few sips of coffee, they'll probably be okay. But if they have a whole cup, or if they get into your coffee grounds or coffee beans, then they could be in trouble. Make sure your trash can is secure so your golden can't get in there and get to your coffee grounds or any of the other foods on this list. Goldens also shouldn't have soda because it has lots of sugar and, like coffee, it has caffeine. And this leads us to our next drink to avoid for your dog, alcohol. Just like caffeine, dogs don't process alcohol as well as we do. I assume you're not going to willingly give your dog alcohol, but if you take your dog to a brewery or throw a rager at your house, make sure that your dog doesn't get into any open containers left on the floor. When it comes to drinks, make sure your dog is only drinking water. Caffeine, alcohol, and sugar are all bad for your pup. It might also be a good idea to follow this tip for yourself, but we're not going to get into that on this channel. Next on this list is something that you may have never heard of, but you're probably ingesting every day. Xylitol. What exactly is xylitol? It's a sugar-free sweetener, and it's found in some candies, toothpaste, ketchup, peanut butter, and other foods. It can cause liver failure, low blood sugar, and even seizures in dogs. Now I did check, and xylitol is not in Jif peanut butter, which most dogs love. And you should be brushing your dog's teeth often, but you definitely want to make sure you're using a toothpaste specifically made for dogs. Next is another thing your dog should avoid that might leave you scratching your head a bit, but then we've got some more really common foods that you probably ate last night. Golden retrievers should never eat raw yeast. You may not have raw yeast laying around your kitchen, but you do if you're baking bread. Yeast rises, but if your dog eats it raw and it rises in their stomach, it can cause gas and painful bloating, or even cause your dog's stomach to twist, which could be life-threatening. If you're baking bread in your kitchen, definitely be sure to let it rise somewhere safe from your golden. But although not everyone has raw yeast in their kitchen, almost everybody has this next food golden retrievers should not eat. Ice cream. Now ice cream is a tricky one. Some goldens are lactose intolerant or allergic to milk, so obviously they shouldn't be eating ice cream. But ice cream is also bad for dogs without these problems, and that's because ice cream just has too much sugar. The same goes with puppuccinos and whipped cream. There's a little bit of sugar in there, so you wouldn't want to give one to your dog every day. If you really want to give your dog a frozen treat, you could freeze berries and yogurt together for them. But although strawberries and raspberries are okay for dogs, this next food is similar to those fruits, but is actually really dangerous for them. Grapes. Grapes can cause kidney failure in dogs and are very toxic to them. Some of the foods on this list are okay in small amounts, but that is not the case with grapes. Even just one grape can be problematic, so definitely keep grapes away from them. You might even want to avoid letting small children have them who can accidentally drop them on the floor, where your dog is always waiting to eat anything that comes their way. Although scientists don't exactly know what it is that make grapes so toxic to dogs, raisins, which are just dried grapes, are toxic too, so steer clear of both of them. Next up is not exactly something you'd snack on, but almost everybody has in their kitchen: garlic. Garlic can cause anemia in dogs, which can cause weakness, elevated heart rate, and pale gums. It can even be fatal, so definitely keep garlic out of the reach of your Golden's fluffy paws. Onions have the same effect on dogs, just a little less extreme, and so can garlic powder and onion powder. This is one of the reasons you want to avoid giving your dog meat or vegetables with seasonings on them, because these two powders are so common. Now up next isn't exactly a human food, but it's closely related. Real bones. Yeah, your dog would probably love gnawing on the bone from your porterhouse steak or turkey, but these bones can actually be bad for them. Bones can splinter off and tear your dog's throat or stomach, or get lodged somewhere in their digestive tract. Instead, go with something like a Benny bone for them, which won't splinter off. Or, if you want to keep it natural, give them something like a bully stick. I'll link both of these dog chews down in the description for you. Next, we've got everybody's favorite restaurant add-on: avocado. Avocados contain persin, which can cause vomiting and diarrhea in dogs. There's more persin in the skin and the pit than the actual fruit, and Goldens will usually be okay if they have a little bit of the fruit, but it's just best to avoid avocados altogether. Now, this whole list is all about foods that your dog can't eat, but if you want to know what human foods they can eat, check out this video next. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys, wanted to come on here and give you a quick and honest review of these Zesty Paws Omega Bites. These are for skin and coat. I personally have a dog that suffers from itchy skin, and these have really helped tremendously. Let me give you guys a closer look at them. So here is what they look like. They are on the smaller side, so easy for dogs to chew and take down. This is in the chicken flavor. My dogs absolutely love them, and I feel like for the price, you just can't beat it. So definitely check these out, guys.
This is a product that I use for our dog, and it's the Zesty Paws Omega Bites. He doesn't really like how fish oil tasted, so I needed something else. This is chicken flavor, and it's for skin and coat. It has fish oil, all this good stuff. It's like a chewable, and they're a little heart shape, so that's really cute. Definitely recommend, if they don't like them whole, you can also crumble them over their food. So yeah, definitely recommend the Zesty Paws Omega Bites.